during this call, we review the work that has been done. And in a couple weeks, we're going to actually go back over the cultural build because a lot of new people have come in, and it needs to be reviewed and revised. And then we're going to just continue handing in deliverables until we deploy the actual token economy and the culture that we build around it around Christmas time. Kind of like a nice change of pace for 2020. That's the goal. So.
Anderson is here, then maybe we can start the record.
Yeah, YGG, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone. It's nice to be in this call. I was in the CAD community call a couple months ago, so I might have seen some of you in there. But I'm excited to get joining these weekly syncs, and I'm more than comfortable using OBS. And yeah, I was talking with Griff. OBS is super easy. It's easy to install, and it's really easy to get started. So I don't know if I could do like a simple demo or something.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to do a demo because there's so much to cover, but
Right.
I would like to solicit volunteers.
Nice.
Because ideally we have a few people recording because not everyone can make every call. Does anyone else feel comfortable installing OBS and making some recordings? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's me, Septimus.
Septimus.
I used to stream, so I think I can handle that.
Fantastic. Anybody else? So what we'll do is Zeptimos sync up with YGG, and we will. YGG, is that what you go by?
You can call me Sean, or Sean. YGG is good. If you forget my name, that's fine too.
All right, that's cool. I'll try to remember Sean. It's a good name. So yeah, Sean and Zeptimos, you guys can hang out, and ping me, and I'll give you a Google Drive link. Ideally, just any call that you're in with the TEC, record it and upload it to Google Drive, and then I'll take it from there to make sure it gets posted on YouTube with comments and all that stuff. Someone's got an echo. I think it's Santi. Okay. Thank you guys for volunteering on the OBS. Ooh, and Santi, can you mute?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm just switching to the computer. Never mind.
Perfect. Okay, so again, the purpose of this call is to show off the work that has been done this week. It's not to really discuss or brainstorm improvements. That stuff, we have too much to review, so we try to do that offline in the documents themselves, asynchronous as much as we can in this remote environment. And then if anybody has any ideas on things that need to be done this week, in the notes document, there is a section at the end for action items. So please note the action items here at the end. Feel free to just write in this document. It is your document. Feel empowered. And anything that you think of that needs to be done next week, write it here so we don't lose it. And then the community stewards will try to pick it up. Okay, so actually I'm going to lead first on the review of the work that has been done by the TEC Spec working group. If you go to the notes, you can see our working group manifesto. I'm actually not going to review it at all because there's a lot of other things to talk about. But if you want to understand what the TEC Spec working group is about, that's the place to do it. This week, Sem has been working a lot with me on this doc, and we've collected some to-do items. So if anybody wants to help the TEC Spec group work on finalizing the test deployment and getting it out ASAP, we have kind of an open work section here for contributions. Feel free to just DM me and say, hey, I want to work on this, I want to work on that. And a lot of it we're going to have working group sessions with, and we'll just, we just need people to carry the flag. And then you don't have to do all the work, you just have to carry the flag to make sure the work gets done. So a couple things I want to point out. The actual TEC Spec documentation still needs to be written. We have this doc is for like notes on the working group, and then we have a work in progress TEC spec doc here, where we are taking the deployment script and the gardens template.sol script that have all the actual technical details for deploying this and just cleaning it up so that normal people can read it and understand what we're doing. If you want to help with that, please DM me. Also, we have some more smaller research topics like digging through the code and understanding if we can actually use XDI directly, forking all the Argon apps to GitHub, verifying all the contracts on Block Scout. Making another one that's really big is that I would love to help work on with somebody is making a proposal for funding the development work from the OneHive team. So Sem and Paulo and Fabi and Rodrigo and a whole bunch of Bs from the OneHive team are going to help us to deploy all this stuff and actually do a lot of work on the OneHive Gardens template. And OneHive would actually like to support us for this. We just have to actually ask for it. So I can walk people through that process if someone wants to help me carry that flag. There's also a lot of GitHub documentation that needs to be done, as well as making an architecture diagram. So it's something people can look at and understand how all the pieces fit together. This week, a lot of people have already taken up tasks. Ticker symbol, logo, and name, the comms working group is working on, as well as the forum, which I'm sure they'll talk about. Vivi is looking to work on the front end for the hatch when Sem has it deployed. The hatch balance oracle Sem is working on. The test list for impact hours, Paulo made an awesome PR for that. Thank you, Paulo. And adding 2 parameters to the contributor role. There's like a few small changes to what is already deployed or what has already been audited that we have to make it work for our use case. So Sem is working on that. And then publishing the contracts to APM, which Sem is working on, and taking the deep dive into how bonding curves work and how we use it. This is, I think Fabi is going to take that on. I want to pass it to Sem if you have anything you want to talk about, Sem, and the progress of the actual deployment.
Yeah, we are a little bit behind of the schedule because we wanted to. It's still a test, so we are not like launching anything or it's but we in the plans we wanted to have the hatch already open, so who wants to test it can play with it. We are a little bit behind of that, and our priority right now is to deploy the applications that already exist, and maybe let the hatch oracle, which is that new piece that we need to restrict the number of tokens that people can buy depending on the number of CSTK tokens that they have. That part we may let it for the subsequent test and have it as soon as possible in XDI to test. But the code has some it has some things that are a bit outdated, and we might want to change that first, or find some way in which we can publish it on XDive without the errors that it is giving right now. And yeah, I hope that we can figure it out with the people at OneHive and see if we can work with that and have that this week, so we can announce to the testers who want to join that we have the hatch going.
Nice.
After that, so we can continue with the front end for the hatch and the rest of the things that are right now a kind of blocked because we don't have that hatch in the blockchain.
Yeah. So in summary, we're going to deploy this thing as soon as we can, running into some bugs that won't allow us to get it to XDI. But before next week, for sure, before this call next week, hopefully over the weekend is the goal, we will actually be able to allow you guys to all buy into a hatch and start participating in a very simple test commons. And just so you know, like, it will be live on XDI with real money, but any money that goes in there, it's likely just to be considered a donation. So I'll probably just give everyone $1 or something so that you can buy in, and ideally don't buy in with more when we get to that point. And I'll repeat that again when I send everyone the $1 to buy in. So the goal is not to raise money here. The goal is just to get you guys all to experience what we might be playing with at the end of this game. So that's the TEC Spec working group. There's obviously a lot of small little work that, Paulo was a huge contributor this week, and obviously Sam went way above and beyond to build some things. But we need more help. So if anyone can help us, feel free to DM me and I'll help coordinate work for you. I'll pass it to Livia for the soft governance working group. And we have 34 more minutes, so we'll have to be pretty quick.
I'll be really quick. This week in the soft governance, we had more open discussions that still don't have very clear action items, apart from the ones that are already happening. That is the map of contributors. That please click on that link and add your information to that map. That's a way for us to see each other, understand who we are, see how we can collaborate with each other. What languages do we speak? Where are we located? What are our interests, and how we can coordinate better. Also, Humberto, he's not here in the call, but he created a clickbait that we're still setting up to organize all the workflow that is happening. And we have one with the conflict resolution practices, and he was working with Lorelei this week. And one of the things that came up is to start more conversations around conflict in our channels, in the Telegram working group or in the Discord channel. So if you want to join us on that, please do so, because we need to understand what conflicts are possible to arise to create more structure for them. And maybe Juan, you want to speak quickly about your progress around that?
Well, my progress is in the document, but I would really love if everyone can read it and put their feedback on. It's mainly like an idea for having a conflict resolution mechanism inside decentralized organizations, with first a training, and then like a definition of how are we going to board conflicts, what are the conflicts we are going to be able to solve. And there's like different approaches, and we have some university resumes. So if anyone can contribute, that would be amazing. Also this week, Fabian talked about applied ethics. So if anyone can help us in this with a different focus, it would be amazing. And that's all.
Thank you. And also, Jess is doing some research on reward systems of what's happening in other DAOs. So also, if you have information about that, that's going to be really useful for the soft governance working group, and also for the onboarding working group that I'll speak about soon. And we've been having an onboarding experiment proposed by Angela. It was the second call, and some of you that are here came, and it's very cool to just have a moment to get to know each other in person, kind of, and to be able to explore a little bit more everything we're doing. So next week we are going to have a token engineering Q&A, not token engineering commons, but if everyone wants to understand more about the token engineering field. And then a big call to action is we're working on the mural board that is linked in the notes doc, and we are moving from accountability to sanctions, and these topics are very related to each other. So we gathered a lot of data in our last meeting, and it's all quite complicated data. And one of the points that we came down to is that we should expect the best and prepare for the worst. And what is the worst? What can go wrong in this experiment that we are doing? So I would love to hear all of your inputs. And this week, the work is pretty much going through everything that is there and understanding what are points that we can start to experiment and apply on what we already have going on. And I think, oh, and also Santi is working on Wiki, and it's evolving a lot, and you guys can talk to him if you want to collaborate on the wiki. And Santi, if you want to speak like 20 seconds about that.
Sure, I just started pointing to the document after Griff suggested to. I would love to create a Notion account for the group once we have an email that I can relate to when I subscribe to the free account and migrate all the information there. And once it's there, and once we have an initial version of the website, I will post it there, and anyone is open and welcome to suggest to add any additional information as Jess did this morning, so I can include
it. Santi, you are muted.
I'm here.
No, I can hear him. I think you probably muted before Santi had an echo, and so on Discord you can mute individual people, and then they are muted for you, but not for everyone else. Okay. So I think and other people might need to unmute Santi as well.
Okay, so if you heard me, that's about it.
Cool. Is that okay? Cool. Well, I'm gonna pass it. It's a hot potato. Jess, it's all on you. You got the comms microphone.
Hot potato. You can see represented by David Bowie emojis. What is happening in communications? It's not the most glorious work right now. It's mostly just setting up communications platforms, but it will get more fun later when we can start producing memes. But for now, we're just black and white type. So Manu has been amazing. Thank you so much for the work and stepping up with like running the ball on setting up the forum with Kai. Manu's going to be working on that this weekend, and then I'll jump in for the front end organization parts. Oh, I should start off by saying, or I'll end with that. Okay. Twitter. Blair has got the Twitter set up. We'll be sharing that soon. The Discord, we were discussing, and kind of need to sync with Angela a bit on that, but we were discussing breaking out and having our own Twitter before the actual launch at some point. So that's on the map for later. Website iteration 1. I started a document, and we're going to have a work session right after this call. So anybody that wants to join, just DM me. Blair and I will be working on the content because Manu's hot to trot on building out the first edition of the website. And then, yeah, YouTube and Reddit are kind of, lower. YouTube's higher priority, I guess. So we just need to set that up. I have not had a chance. If anyone wants to jump in faster than me, feel free. This works on the table, and you can just join the next comms call and kind of get onboarded in and start running on some of these things. My main focus and our group needs is this logo. So I'm working with Marco, like async and Telegram, trying to like sketch on iterations for that. And he's pretty specific in what he says we kind of can and can't do. So I appreciated everybody's feedback in the document, but he's saying, I'm trusting in him because he's been doing this for a long time. So if anybody does have any feedback or like strong feelings about what the logo should look like, please feel free to send me some feedback. But we're hoping to have some mock-ups. I think by tomorrow is probably more realistic. And then I'm not sure the process, how we want to handle it, if we want to have a vote or just, maybe two, keep it simple. We don't want to go too crazy by committee, but want to honor everybody's feedback. Livy and I did a work session yesterday, and today we should be publishing, actually by tomorrow we'll be publishing the rewards results. So everybody has been kicking butt and working really hard and getting praised. So we will be having the results, drum roll, until it's published tomorrow, the results. And then we should be on a more regular roll with the newsletter, having it bi-weekly so that everybody can see like where they're at and explaining a little more about how we honor the work and what work you can jump into that will earn like the kind of more praise based on our system. And then Craig, I want to honor and thank you publicly for jumping into the very fun task of telegramming 40 people to ask them to apply to the Trusted Seed. So basically, if you haven't applied to the Trusted Seed and you've gotten praise, you have tokens waiting for you. So we're asking that everybody apply to the Trusted Seed. So Craig, you're awesome. Thanks for picking that up. And let's see. Manu. So one of the most important things we're also doing as we are multitasking is to look ahead a bit and also to look at the kind of meta narrative. So Manu, do you want to quickly say what you'd like people to do if the doodle poll is still open and how we're going to run the exercise tomorrow with the Miro board to go through your process? If you want to just, what should people do to join in that call, and how badly would we like their input? Oh, is he? I think did he jump? Oh, sorry. I guess Manu, he's been actually sick a little bit. So I'll just say, we're having a meeting tomorrow, and if you can't make it for some reason, you can just have a look at this Miro board. The link and password are there, and would love to have your input on narratives. What story do we want to tell? Who do we really want to reach? Who would we like to know about our community? And what messages are important that we're sharing about token engineering and about the commons? So the doodle is still open, it looks like. I think we'll probably close the doodle end of day to choose the time for tomorrow. And again, async is also okay, but we'll be going through a process that Manu has used before that is very effective to drill down into getting a little more targeted with our storytelling. And onboarding video is something, if anyone wants to jump on that with us, I think we'll do that in our work session right after this as well. The idea came up, I think from the SoftGov group, to have an onboarding video. So we thought like a 1 minute, different faces. So we're going to write the script, and then whoever wants to say hi to the new people in the video will give you like the line, and you'll record yourself saying it, and then I'll cut it all together, maybe with a few graphics. We're going to 80-20 something for now to kind of test it and see if it's, good for engagement. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My internet's been struggling today. So yeah, Blair and I will kick it off and then pass it around for some feedback. And Humberto, cheers to Humberto for making a kick-ass news proposal a little bit ahead of the time. This is kind of like a nice to have right now. As you can see, we have a lot of other work, but he's like did an amazing job basically producing what could be like a regular segment for news. And I hope that we have the bandwidth for that later on. So he will be presenting in comms next week about that, but that's super fun. And yeah, the final main thing is coordinating with onboarding group for some partnership development and work. So basically we have ecosystem friends like Regen Network, who is basically offering to airdrop tokens on our trusted seed to on Cosmos Network to kind of diversify their governance to trusted ecosystem friends and partners. And this is not the only group that we have close ties with, as you all know. So looking at how can we solidify those partnerships and kind of we rise together. Like One Hive has had huge success that lifts us up, and we lift each other up through this work together in these open source networks. So how can we get some kind of clear partnerships? So had a nice discussion with Angela this morning about how we can start to work through that process and what that could look like. And that is super exciting because, you know, we can give some tokens to other groups that we want to have governance in our community. And then also, you know, all of these tokens and projects, amazing people with crazy amounts of potential where we could have so much shared value together. So that is really exciting and something that's kind of being worked on as well. Big calls to action. Please join the Story Canvas meeting tomorrow or async fill in on the Miro board, and that call will be announced in the comms channel. It will likely be, we'll run it in the comms TEC Discord voice channel. And then if you are excited by any of these things on the David Bowie list, please join the meeting next Tuesday. And would love to see your smiling face there and help to push some of this forward with communication.
Oh, wow. There is a lot going on in comms. Man, thank you, Jess, for the rundown. It was really fast, and there is a lot.
I don't want to talk the whole time, but yeah, if anyone has any questions or...
I'm pretty sure you could take this whole thing on. Look at all of this work. If anyone wants to help out comms, that's clearly they're running full speed. So, but there's also a new onboarding working group. Livia, are you the one who should be presenting this, or?
Yeah, Angela couldn't come here today because she's in an academy call, and we are sharing the leadership of this working group now before someone else jumps into it. So if anyone wants to join the onboarding working group and wants to take that role of leading this to happen, I think it's great that we can share the leadership and not accumulate multiple working groups, but it's really cool the work that is happening there. And we have the manifesto that we just made up today, and it was our first call this morning. So what we would like to achieve with this working group is to map all of the stakeholders in the ecosystem and establish the value flows based on what they offer and on the value they are seeking. So it's the incentive alignment between the system and the stakeholders. So we were talking this morning how the ambition of the TE Commons is to become the best place to welcome proposals that are willing to solve very complex problems in the token engineering field. And in order to do that, we need to understand who are the players and what are the things we can offer and how are we building value. So this includes the token design, the culture and value propositions, and this work is being done in parallel with the Ecosystem and Value Flows course led by Angela in the Token Engineering Academy. And there is a lot of meetings happening in multiple times during the week, and you can find the schedule of these meetings in the manifesto too. And the ones that are in pink are the meetings that are open for our working group, and the ones that are in black are the meetings that are happening with the academy. So there are two students, Eli and Jonas, that are joining the working group to be this bridge between the Token Engineering Academy and use the TEC as a use case for how to apply everything they're bringing on from the ecosystem value flow into the onboarding. And the way this will benefit the near-term mission of the TEC is that we will understand how to onboard stakeholders and how to give value to them and how to align the incentives for their participation and create a process for the hatch. So what would be considered a success? We are aiming to have 3 simulated scenarios that include incentives and policies, the tax feasibility, the legal design, executive model, that it's how we organize ourselves, what are the rights, responsibilities, roles, and to hopefully get this three scenarios to be voted in the community and choose one that would be the route we'll apply in the TEC to be ready for the launch. If you want to join this working group, you can talk to me or with Angela. And our next sync, if I'm right, it's gonna be on Saturday. Or yeah, I'll have to double check the agenda, but it's soon. It's before next week.
Cool. So if people want to be joining, you can put in your name here in the working group template. I guess this is the what was it, onboarding?
Yeah, people can put the name under members, and if you're right up there, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, this is if you want to stay up to date with the action in this group. Put your name here because it's hard to herd cats if we don't know who they are. So make sure Juan Carlos, thanks for joining, and anyone else who wants to, feel free to open up the working group template, the working group manifesto right here, and there's a work document that's also in progress. Wow, we are ahead of schedule. This is amazing. I can't believe we were able to get through this stuff so fast. If there's any action items, please put them in here or put them in the working group docs. And I guess we have some more moments with people's time. Does anyone want to deep dive into some of their work and show off their amazing work for more review?
Griff?
Yeah.
One request. Can everybody go to the top of the agenda and put your Telegram handle so we can praise you? Just make sure it's there. I think we have accounted for most, but if you want to just double check so we can dish praise to people, that would be awesome. And if you haven't, post an emoji or say hi in the TE praise channel just to make sure that the bot recognizes you as well. Just a reminder. But yeah.
Yeah, in fact, maybe it's worth going over this because there's so many new people. So we have a really interesting, unique strategy for rewarding contributions. It's a 2-step process. First, we acknowledge the contribution by dishing praise. So if you've been following the comment stack, you might see this dish praise to someone, right, for doing this. So that's how we acknowledge and record those contributions. In the end, all of that just goes into a spreadsheet. And if you want to be acknowledged for the work that you're doing, it's really makes our life easier if you join this Telegram room, because then when we are doing your name just auto completes, and it makes the people that want to give you gratitude, it just makes their life so much easier. So join that room and make it easy for us to acknowledge the work that you're done. And then once that work has been acknowledged, it all goes into a spreadsheet, which is public. I will try to grab the link here somewhere where Livy and I actually go through, and it's on an open call every other Friday at 5 p.m. Europe time, 8 a.m. West Coast time. We have the horrible job of quantifying praise. There's a whole document that explains what we use to quantify praise. In general, people who get paid to do some of this work, and we are open to paying people for work that needs to be done if they'd like to take the direct payment route. Those people get a lot lower points than the people who volunteer. The people who volunteer end up getting a lot of points when we quantify the praise, and then those points end up translating to impact hours. And impact hours will become Token Engineering Commons tokens. So it's basically a path. The path is a little bit complicated, but you can make it shorter by saying, do good work, receive praise, and then you'll get, you're basically earning sweat equity in the token engineering commons. And then you'll have tokens that will allow you to govern the funds that we raise and decide where they go to push forward the token engineering community. So that's the long story short, or maybe long story short-ish. And I think it's really important that everyone knows that this is not, that we really appreciate your help, and you are, your co-creation in this ends up being recognized in a huge way. So yeah, does anyone have any work that they especially want to show off? That might, I don't know if Manu ended up making it back, or if anyone else has a piece of work that they think they could use some help with. This is a great time to show it off. No?
I have just a question, if possible.
Yeah.
Livia before spoke about a call on Friday, if I'm not wrong, but or Saturday dates, because there are no calls on the general calendar of token engineering. So I wanted to know if all the calls of token engineering are indicated in that calendar or not.
This is a special call for the onboarding working group, and if you're in the agenda and you go into the onboarding manifesto, there is a sheet there with all the schedule.
Okay.
The sheet is both under working style and please break down the goals into a roadmap.
Okay. Cool.
And then you have all the dates there.
And another last thing, at the 7 p.m. today, there was another call about the token engineering book, but I connected to the towers, and for half an hour there wasn't anybody in the call. So that's the.
Yes, that's actually Shebnem forgot to coordinate. She's doing the TE Academy, so apologize for that.
Okay.
I'm part of that working group. Feel free to always jump into the Discord TE book channel to ask questions. And yeah, I'm sure, I apologize for that. I know Sheb, she's just so busy. But yeah, we do have weekly calls for the TE book, and that's somewhat separate from the TEC for right now, but it will be one of the public goods, and something that will be bootstrapped, hopefully, with the TEC token economy. And so, yeah, would love to have your input. So feel free to direct message Sheb or in the TE book channel.
Yeah. Any other questions or any other thoughts anyone wants to ask?
Well, I just want to remind everyone that I am willing to receive feedback on the draft of conflict resolution. I think that would be very amazing to have a transdisciplinary approach on that. So I'll copy the link in the general chat.
Oh, that would be great. I will definitely review that. Just to reiterate, conflict resolution doesn't sound like, that big of a thing until you really need it. I've seen it destroy so many communities, and it's one of Eleanor Ostrom's 8 principles around governing and managing a commons. So, it's all of her principles are really just insurance for the long life of and maintenance of a commons, which we are trying to build. So, thank you, Juan Carlos, for taking on this really critical work. And I think it's worth everyone checking out his document. He's an expert in the field. He has a master's degree in it. So there's a lot of opportunities to bring this knowledge into other groups. So definitely worth the review. Anyone else?
Just one thing from someone who's new. This is my first call. When you guys are kind of mentioning these documents, what are the main channels to look through to be following along with everything that's happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in Discord, there are these different Telegram, there's different channels. There's a whole group called TE Commons. And so we have the general channel, which is where we just post a lot of links and do a lot of other things there. And just have general chat. Then there's a few other channels. The voting channel is really just for posting things that need consent. For instance, just mentioned the logo. It's almost like a hey alert channel. If you don't, we need some feedback on this, and if you have a big problem with it, it may affect everyone. So we put it for a vote. And then there's the comms channel, the SoftGov channel, and the onboarding channel. All those working group channels are there. Then there's also the TEC Spec channel is actually bridged to OneHive's Discord. So it's in the co-communities channel. And those are the main Discord channels. And as far as for grabbing links, the single source of truth ends up being our notes document for this weekly sync, which I can post a link to in the general channel again. From there, it's kind of a spider web. Like you can follow all the links that I've been showing on the share screen originated in this call agenda.
Also, the general chat has a pinned message with the onboarding guide that has all the resources and all these links also, and the links for the working groups.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. It's a spider web of Google Doc links for the most part. Anything else? Well, I guess the last thing I'll show is that Blair created a Telegram channel, or sorry, a Twitter for us. You can be one of the first followers even before it's set up. It's TECMNS, TE Commons, but without vowels and commons and only one M, TECMNS. You can be one of the first followers if you'd like. And we don't have any pictures or anything up. I think that there's going to be some work done on that later today and tomorrow. But, it's always fun to be on the inside, right? Other than that, thank you guys. This has been a great call. I can't believe we got done so early with so much going on this week. We really appreciate all your hard work coming to all the working group calls. If you need anything, feel free to DM me or Livia or Jess or any of the other community stewards. We are always here to support you on a one-on-one basis. If you don't feel comfortable in the main rooms asking for help, definitely reach out on an individual basis, and we're here to support. So thank you guys for the great call.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.